Compared to the radical redesign of the iPhone X, the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus look quite familiar. With the exception of a glass back and some superficial changes, they employ the same design Apple's been using since the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. However, there are some significant internal changes that make a difference for day-to-day use. I picked up my iPhone 8 Plus on launch day, and having it for just under 1 week, here are my thoughts so far. Personally, I like this iPhone design, although it's feeling outdated and it has done for some time. Samsung switches up the design of its flagship phones every year, and Apple's continued reliance on a design that debuted in 2014 seems lazy in comparison. Keeping a very similar design means Apple should have no problem manufacturing millions of the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, but saving the new, sexy, bezel-less design for the iPhone X means a lot of people will be holding out for the latest, greatest Apple phone. The big noticeable change in the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus is the return of the glass back for the device. This lets the phone be identified easily as an 8 model and actually improves the design aesthetically. It also adds some extra, much needed grip. Plus, thankfully, fingerprints aren't a big deal on the glass back. I'm not wiping it on my t-shirt every few minutes, apart from that mirrored Apple logo. The big reason for the glass back is the presence of wireless charging, a first for an iPhone. Apple is playing catch up here. Android handsets have had this feature for years. Apple is also playing catch up with the air-powered charging pad that will charge the iPhone 8. It won't be available until next year. However, since the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus support wireless charging, using the Qi Open Wireless standard, you can use dozens of products made by other companies. For example, I picked up this Samsung one for around $50. The one thing you'll need to keep in mind when using Qi charging is that it can be a fair bit slower than using the good old-fashioned lightning connector. For example, the iPhone 8 Plus goes from 0 to 60% in about an hour with a lightning cable. In comparison, an hour of wireless charging only takes it to about 30%. So wireless charging at this point is more suited to popping your iPhone on a charging pad when you go to bed, as opposed to hoping to get a quick boost. The next big change in the iPhone 8 Plus is one that you won't see, but will definitely hear: the device's new speakers. Apple says these are 25% louder than those in the previous generation of phones. Without measuring it, I'd say Apple is spot on or even underrating the iPhone 8 Plus's speakers. They're surprisingly loud the first time you turn them up to the max, and they're still super crisp when on full. Here in 2017, cameras are one of the biggest features that sell smartphones, and iPhone 8 and 8 Plus do not disappoint in that respect. Just as with the previous generations, however, the 8 Plus offers a superior camera to the regular iPhone 8. On paper, the specs can be a bit deceiving. Both iPhone 8 and 8 Plus has a 12 megapixel camera just like the iPhone 7. And the 8 Plus still packs the dual camera system, with wide angle and telephoto lenses for extra photographic firepower. However, this year's model's got a major upgrade. They pack a bigger camera sensor. Although Apple hasn't revealed exactly how much bigger it is, this sensor boasts pixels that are better at isolating incoming light and reducing crosstalk between pixels. On top of that, the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus camera sensor is also smarter, while the A11 Bionic chip makes the iPhone better at video stabilization. In addition, you can double the frame rate of 4K capture, which results in far smoother video. It's impressive stuff, and it adds up to one of the best smartphone cameras I've ever had the pleasure of using. The iPhone 8 Plus also introduces new portrait lighting effects to portrait mode, the software enhancement that mimics the depth effects created by DSLR cameras. The new portrait lighting effects are designed to mimic lighting setups used in professional photo shoots, using the iPhone 8 Plus's depth mapping technology to increase shadows while brightening other areas. It's perfect for your Kardashian-style selfies. The stage lighting preset, for instance, aims to mimic a dark backdrop, although results can be mixed using this preset. Sometimes it perfectly cuts out the foreground subject from the background, other times it ends up looking like a bad Photoshop job. Keep in mind that these new lighting features are still in beta, so they could improve over time. The new iPhone 8 and 8 Plus also raised the bar on shooting video. They shoot 240 frames at 1080p, which means you can get awesome shots like this. And it looks amazing. A frame rate this high at full HD is hard to find in a standalone video cameras worth 3 or 4 times the price. Inside the devices, you get Apple's new A11 Bionic chip with a CPU up to 70% faster than the iPhone 7's A10 Fusion, and a 3-core GPU that's up to 30% faster. In tests, I definitely noticed switching apps was faster. The A11 Bionic chip really comes into its own with augmented reality apps. Machines, a game that Apple demoed during the iPhone 8 keynote, is full of vast landscapes, particle effects and animations, and it runs almost flawlessly, all while tracking my dining table. The display on the new iPhone 8 and 8 Plus are almost identical to the previous generation, which isn't a bad thing. No, you don't get the iPhone X's Super Retina OLED display, but the addition of True Tone, Apple's white balance compensation system that gets the display to look different under different lights, makes a huge difference. As a result, the iPhone 8 line definitely retains its status as the best LCD display on the market. So is it worth buying the iPhone 8 or 8 Plus? Personally, I'd go for the plus size model, since its dual lens camera makes light work of making any photograph look amazing. For most people, deciding between the two models will probably come down to the device's footprints. Just as in previous years, you'll need to weigh whether you prefer the one-handed ease of the iPhone 8 or the giant screen and longer battery of the 8 Plus. Obviously, I'll need to try out the iPhone 10 to make an in-depth comparison of Apple's 2017 iPhone lineup. From what we know about all three devices, you're definitely better off waiting for the iPhone 10 if you want to have all of the latest features. The iPhone 8 and 8 Plus don't offer the Super Retina display, there's no Face ID, and no depth sensing camera. That means fans of Animojis, Apple's new animated emojis, which was shown off so wonderfully by Apple's Craig Federighi during the iPhone 10 keynote, will be disappointed. If you've already got an iPhone 7 or 7 Plus and don't want to upgrade to the iPhone 10, I'd say there's nothing that would compel me to upgrade to the iPhone 8 or 8 Plus. Heck, if the Qi wireless charging is so important to you, you can buy a case that supports it and will work on your existing device. If you have a phone that's older than a couple of years, however, and you don't need the latest features, I'd definitely recommend the iPhone 8 Plus. You won't be disappointed by what adds up to a solid improvement of an already great device. Just be warned that you could find yourself facing buyer's remorse once you start seeing the iPhone 10 out and about. Well, that is it for this video. If you've already picked up your iPhone 8 or 8 Plus, check out the link in the description down below, as thanks to our friends over at YesGo, we're giving away 100 free iPhone 8 and 8 Plus cases. Also, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that like button, and make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a single video from Cult of Mac. I'll catch you in the next one.